So today we're going to talk about one of the big topics we get is the axis rotation versus axis tilt. And let's start with a little bit of a diagram. What we call rotation is where your PAP is relative to the direction the ball's going. So the ball's going down a lane and your PAP is here. That would be a guy with a 0 rotation. Okay, and that can range anywhere from 0 to maybe 30 degrees. Okay, the second one that we'll talk about is 45 degrees. That's where your axis point is somewhat facing you, but not facing exactly towards you. Again, the ball direction. That's the PAP. And that would be about maybe 35 to 60 degrees. And again, the way you find that is you simply put a piece of tape on the ball, and when it stabilizes off your hand, that would be your axis point. And this is the direction it faces as it goes down a lane. And the third one is the big rotation players would be 90 degrees. So let's call that 65 to 90. Okay, and each one of these has a specific characteristic on what they perform best on. In the case of the 0 guy, he does very well when there's heavier oil in the heads. And the back ends are dry. The 45, we'll call it 45 degree rotation player, likes them when they're sort of medium. Not real flooded, not real dry. So he likes medium patterns. And the 90 degree guy, his best characteristics are hooking heads and tight back ends. Okay, and that's their general characteristics. So when you talk about a person's rotation, it's where the axis point is facing you, what degree it faces you at, off your hand going towards the pins. The second part, and we hear a lot of this nowadays, is the tilt. And the tilt is the up and down of that PAP. So let's talk about a low tilt player. His axis point would be down a little bit, almost straight across, and his tilt would be down. So if you have a combination of 0 and 0, probably going to go very straight. Okay. The second set is the guy with a medium tilt, and his axis point would be, if you looked at it relative to 90 degrees, it would be above the center line, and that would be a medium tilt. He gets medium projection down the lane and a moderate back end. And the last guy is a high tilt player. That's where his axis point would be. Okay, so his axis point would be facing up in this direction. And this guy here is the high tilt. He gets easy length off his hand. So again, when you start looking at where you fit, if you're a 90 with a high tilt, you're going to throw that ball down a lane pretty easily. If you're a medium with a medium tilt, you're going to sort of read mid lane pretty good. And if you're low with low tilt, that ball's going to go straight. So most times the combinations are one of these with any one of these three. Okay, so that sort of explains the difference between rotation and tilt. And you have to learn your DNA. What are you good at based on how it comes off your hands? In another segment, we'll talk about adjusting the tilt and maybe trying to fine-tune your game a little bit.